The wealthiest people in the world are not wearing what you think. While everyone else fights over loud logos and overhyped drops, the ultra-rich have already moved on, quietly. They are buying brands most people have never heard of. No advertising, no influencers. Price tags that start where mainstream luxury ends. These are labels whispered about in private fitting rooms, passed down through families, and worn by people who never need to prove wealth. Today, we are breaking down 12 fashion brands only the ultra-rich actually wear. And number 1 might completely change how you recognize real money. Number 12. Brunello Cucinelli. If quiet luxury had a founding father, it would be Brunello Cucinelli. This Italian brand built its empire on one simple idea: make the finest cashmere in the world and never shout about it. No flashy logos. No celebrity campaigns, just extreme quality and prices that filter out anyone who is not serious about what they wear. A single Cucinelli sweater can cost over $3,000. A full look easily runs into 5 figures. And yet the clothing looks almost plain to the untrained eye. That is the point. The brand operates out of a restored medieval village in Umbria called Solomeo, where Cucinelli has built schools, theaters, and public gardens funded by his profits. He calls it humanistic capitalism. The fashion world calls it genius. In 2023, the brand posted revenues exceeding €1 billion, driven almost entirely by ultra-high net worth clients in Europe, Asia, and the United States. While other brands scramble for visibility, Cucinelli stays invisible on purpose. The people who know, know. And the people who do not were never the target anyway. Walk through any private equity office or family wealth summit, and you will see Cucinelli everywhere, hiding in plain sight among people who stopped caring about labels decades ago. But if you think cashmere is where quiet luxury peaks, wait until you see what the next brand does, with fabric so rare it is regulated by international law. Number 11. Loro Piana. Loro Piana does not just sell clothing. It sells access to materials most people will never touch. The brand is famous for working with vicuña, the rarest fiber on earth. Sourced high in the Peruvian Andes, vicuña wool is so scarce and protected that harvesting it requires government permits. A single coat made from this fabric can cost upwards of $50,000. And there is usually a waiting list. Then there is baby cashmere, collected only from goats under 1 year old during a brief spring window. Softer, lighter, and far more limited than standard cashmere, it forms the backbone of Loro Piana's most coveted pieces. These are not fashion statements. They are quiet declarations of access. LVMH acquired Loro Piana in 2013 for approximately €2 billion, recognizing that the ultra-wealthy do not want logos. They want origin stories. They want to wear something their peers cannot simply walk into a store and buy. The brand's clients include tech billionaires, royal families, and collectors who view clothing as an extension of connoisseurship rather than consumption. Today, the brand remains a staple among private bankers, old money families, and anyone who measures luxury by what a garment feels like rather than what it looks like. No influencer campaign could manufacture that appeal. It has to be inherited, discovered, or earned. While Loro Piana controls the rarest fabrics on earth, the next brand controls something even rarer: time. A suit made entirely by hand, one stitch at a time. Number 10. Kiton. Walk into most designer stores, and you will find suits made in factories, assembled by machines, finished on a timeline. Walk into Kiton, and you will find the opposite. Every suit is handmade in Naples by master tailors who spend upwards of 25 hours on a single jacket. The brand produces only about 22,000 suits per year. For context, some fast fashion labels produce that many units in a single day. Kiton's pricing reflects the scarcity. A ready-to-wear suit starts around $7,000. Bespoke commissions can climb past $50,000. These are numbers that eliminate casual shoppers entirely. And that is by design. The brand has no interest in mass appeal. It does not chase trends. It does not sponsor influencers. Its clients are executives, old money families, and collectors who view tailoring as an art form rather than a purchase. Most of them were introduced to the brand by someone who already wore it. That is how Kiton grows, through whisper networks, not marketing budgets. The Neapolitan house guards its craft so closely that tailors train for years before touching a client garment, ensuring every stitch meets standards that most brands cannot even define. You will rarely see the name in fashion headlines. You will rarely spot it on a red carpet. But in private boardrooms and family offices around the world, Kiton is the gold standard, invisible to most, essential to a few. If that level of craftsmanship sounds extreme, the next brand takes control even further, down to the thread itself. Number 9. Zegna Couture. Most people know Zegna as a premium menswear label. What they do not know is that the brand operates on multiple tiers, and the highest one is almost invisible to the public. Zegna Couture sits at the top, fully bespoke, made to measure, and reserved for clients who want complete control over every detail of their wardrobe. We are not talking about picking a fabric and a fit. Zegna Couture clients select thread colors, lining patterns, button finishes, and stitching density. A single suit can take months to complete. Prices regularly exceed $20,000, and that is before you add shirts, overcoats, or accessories. The brand also owns high-altitude farms in Peru, where it raises vicuñas for its rarest textiles. That vertical integration, from raw fiber to finished garment, gives Zegna control most fashion houses cannot match. This closed-loop approach means clients receive traceability that extends from animal to final stitch, a transparency most luxury brands only pretend to offer. Ultra-wealthy men choose Zegna Couture because it offers precision without performance. There are no obvious logos, no signaling, just flawless construction worn by people who measure quality in stitches per inch, not social media impressions. It is the suit you wear when you have nothing left to prove but still want the best. But if Zegna Couture represents quiet power in menswear, the next brand proves that women's fashion can be just as invisible and twice as expensive. Number 8. The Row. The Row does something almost no other luxury brand attempts. It removes every trace of itself from the product. No logos, no visible tags, no hardware stamped with initials. What remains is pure design, clean lines, neutral palettes, and construction so precise that insiders can spot it across a room without seeing a single label. Founded by Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen in 2006, The Row has grown into one of the most respected names in ultra-high-end fashion. A simple t-shirt can cost over $400. A cashmere coat often exceeds $5,000. And yet the clothing looks deceptively plain. That is the point. The brand caters to women who have no interest in external validation. Its clients include art collectors, tech founders, and private philanthropists who dress to feel exceptional, not to broadcast wealth. The Row does not advertise. It does not collaborate with influencers. It barely posts on social media. Growth comes through word of mouth, through stylists, through the quiet circulation of a name among people who already have everything. Even its retail spaces are designed to feel like private galleries, minimal and unhurried, where clients browse without pressure or spectacle. In a market flooded with branding, The Row offers something increasingly rare: anonymity as a luxury. And for the women who wear it, that silence speaks louder than any logo ever could. Now, if The Row defines quiet American luxury, the next brand has been doing the same in Europe for generations, dressing royals and billionaires without a single headline. Number 7. Acris. Acris is the brand you have never heard of that has been dressing some of the most powerful women in the world for decades. Swiss-owned and family-operated since 1922, the label has built its reputation on precision, discretion, and an almost militant rejection of hype. There are no splashy campaigns, no celebrity endorsements, no front-row spectacles at Fashion Week. Acris shows its collections quietly, sells through a selective network of boutiques, and lets the clothes do the talking. And the clothes say plenty. Structured silhouettes, clean tailoring, and fabrics sourced from the finest mills in Europe. A single jacket can run several $1,000s. Full looks often reach into the tens of thousands. The client list reads like a global power directory. First ladies, European royals, billionaire executives who sit on museum boards and attend state dinners. These are women who do not need fashion to make them interesting. They need fashion to stay invisible while still being impeccable. The brand's commitment to understatement is so complete that most fashion journalists struggle to write about it because there is simply no drama to report. Creative director Albert Kriemler, a third-generation family member, has led the brand for decades with the same philosophy. No noise, only quality. In an industry addicted to visibility, Acris proves that the richest clients often prefer to disappear. But while Acris stays quiet, the next brand does the opposite. It is loud, rare, and almost impossible to access unless you are already inside the circle. If you're enjoying this breakdown, subscribe for more content like it. Number 6. Stefano Ricci. Stefano Ricci is not for wallflowers. The Florence-based brand is known for bold designs, exotic materials, and price points that make even seasoned luxury buyers pause. A single silk tie can cost over $500. Suits regularly exceed $20,000. And the brand's signature eagle logo, while visible, appears only on pieces so rare that recognition becomes its own filter. What sets Stefano Ricci apart is its private client model. The brand does not rely on traditional retail. Instead, it cultivates relationships directly with ultra-high net worth individuals, often hosting private appointments in yachts, estates, or invitation-only showrooms. Shopping here is not transactional. It is experiential. The materials match the approach. Crocodile leather, hand-painted silk, precious metals woven into fabric. These are not garments. They are artifacts, and they are sold to clients who want fashion to feel like an event. The brand has quietly expanded into furnishings and private aviation interiors, dressing not just bodies but entire lifestyles for clients who expect coherence across every detail. Revenue figures remain closely guarded, but industry insiders estimate the brand serves a concentrated base of billionaires, many of whom return season after season for custom commissions. Stefano Ricci does not need foot traffic or brand awareness. It needs the right 10,000 clients, and it has them. If Stefano Ricci proves exclusivity can be loud, the next brand proves it can be famous and still misunderstood. Number 5. Bottega Veneta. Before the hype, before the pouch bag went viral, before influencers flooded social media with green accessories, Bottega Veneta was something else entirely. It was the thinking person's luxury brand. Famous for its intrecciato weave, the label operated for decades under a single guiding principle: when your own initials are enough. That phrase defined a generation of wealthy buyers who wanted quality without performance. No visible logos, no shouting. Just hand-woven leather, so distinctive that those who recognized it understood exactly what it cost. Bottega's clients were private collectors, European aristocrats, and American old money families who passed bags down through generations. The brand's original ethos attracted people who avoided trends altogether. They bought Bottega because it was invisible to the mainstream and unmistakable to their peers. The craftsmanship spoke for itself. For years, that silence was the brand's greatest asset. Artisans in the Veneto region still weave each piece by hand, using techniques that take years to master, creating textures no factory could replicate. Today, Bottega has evolved. New creative direction brought louder designs and broader visibility. But for many ultra-wealthy clients, the appeal still lies in the pre-logo era sensibility. Texture over trend, craft over clout. They are not buying the viral pieces. They are commissioning custom orders, acquiring archival styles, and seeking out the versions of Bottega that never needed a hashtag to matter. If Stefanelli is the pinnacle of bespoke tailoring, the next name is one everyone knows, but almost no one truly understands. Number 4. Stefanelli. There are tailoring houses, and then there is Stefanelli. Tucked away on Rue Marbeuf in Paris, this family-owned atelier has been dressing the global elite since 1880. 4 generations later, the house remains one of the most exclusive names in menswear, not because of hype, but because of scarcity. Stefanelli does not advertise. It does not seek press coverage. It does not have a social media strategy. What it has is a waiting list that can stretch past 2 years for new clients. And once you are in, a single bespoke suit will cost anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000, depending on fabric and complexity. The house is known for its signature cigarette shoulder, a soft, slightly extended shoulder line that has become iconic among tailoring obsessives. Every suit is cut and sewn by hand in the Paris workshop. Every fitting is conducted in person. There are no shortcuts, no diffusion lines, and no outlets. The atelier itself feels more like a private club than a retail space, with fitting rooms designed for conversation and long relationships rather than quick transactions. Clients include heads of state, billionaire investors, and generational wealth families who treat Stefanelli as a rite of passage. Owning one of their suits signals membership in a club that does not accept applications. You are either referred or you are not. If Stefanelli represents the pinnacle of bespoke tailoring, the next brand represents something even broader, a name everyone knows but almost no one truly understands. Number 3. Hermès. Beyond bags. Say Hermès, and most people think of Birkin bags, Kelly bags, and the wait lists that surround them. But for the ultra-rich, those entry points barely scratch the surface. The real Hermès lies deeper. In ready-to-wear, in bespoke leather goods, in silk scarves passed down through generations, and in a relationship with the house that money alone cannot buy. Wealthy clients do not queue for a handbag. They build histories with the brand. They purchase across categories for years, developing profiles that eventually unlock access to custom commissions, rare colorways, and pieces that never appear in stores. A bespoke Hermès saddle, jacket, or travel trunk can take years to complete and cost more than most luxury cars. Revenue tells part of the story. In 2023, Hermès surpassed 13 billion euros in sales, with growth outpacing nearly every competitor. But numbers miss the point. Hermès operates on a logic of time, patience, and discretion. It rewards loyalty over urgency. It makes waiting part of the value. The house still employs artisans who spend entire careers mastering a single craft, whether stitching leather or hand-painting silk with techniques unchanged for decades. For the ultra-rich, wearing Hermès ready-to-wear or carrying a bespoke piece says something a Birkin never could. It says you are not performing wealth, you are living it, and the house treats you accordingly. But while Hermès dominates across categories, the next brand focuses on one thing only, and does it better than almost anyone in history. Number 2. Charvet. On the Place Vendôme in Paris, behind a quiet facade, sits a shirtmaker that has dressed royalty, presidents, and aristocrats for nearly 2 centuries. Charvet, founded in 1838, does not sell fashion. It sells legacy. A single bespoke shirt can cost upward of $1,000. A complete wardrobe commission runs into the tens of thousands. And the wait for a first appointment can stretch for months. Charvet invented the modern dress shirt as we know it. It pioneered ready-tied neckwear. It outfitted the Duke of Windsor, John F. Kennedy, and countless heads of state whose names remain confidential. This is not a brand you discover on social media. It is a brand you inherit, or you are introduced to by someone who already belongs. The experience itself is part of the value. Clients are measured in a private salon, consulted on collar shapes, cuff styles, and fabrics sourced from mills across Europe and Asia. Every shirt is cut and sewn by hand. Every relationship is cultivated over years. Charvet does not need to market itself. Its waiting room is full because it always has been. The house maintains an archive of over 6,000 exclusive fabrics, many of which are produced solely for Charvet and cannot be found anywhere else in the world. For the ultra-rich, a Charvet shirt is not clothing. It is a credential, a signal that you have access to a world most people will never see. And yet, even Charvet is not the final word. The brand at number one goes further still, crafting garments so exclusive they function less like fashion and more like armor for the most powerful people on earth. Number 1. Brioni Bespoke Line. If there is a single brand that defines what it means to dress power, it is Brioni, not the mainline suits you see in department stores. The Bespoke Division. This is where CEOs, diplomats, heads of state, and billionaires go when they want tailoring. That requires no introduction. Brioni was founded in 1945 in Rome, and within decades it became the unofficial uniform of global influence. The house has dressed every James Bond actor since 1995. It has outfitted presidents, prime ministers, and finance titans whose names you would recognize instantly. But you will almost never see them credited. That is the point. A bespoke Brioni suit begins at around $7,000 and climbs steeply depending on materials, customization, and complexity. Commissioning a full wardrobe can cost as much as a house. Each garment is handmade in Italy by artisans trained in techniques passed down through generations. There are no shortcuts, no quiet compromises, only precision engineered to make the wearer feel untouchable. The house operates its own tailoring school in Penn, Italy, ensuring the craft survives, and that every new generation of tailors meets the standard the brand established decades ago. What separates Brioni from every other name on this list is intention. The brand does not exist to impress strangers. It exists to armor the people who shape the world. When you wear Brioni Bespoke, you are not signaling wealth. You are wearing it like a second skin. No logos, no noise, just power, perfectly cut. And that is the final truth about how the ultra-rich dress. They are not trying to be seen. They are trying to be felt. And once you understand that, you will never look at fashion the same way again.